Welcome to Kranky Live, the show where bold minds meet real talk. This isn't your average sports or news show. It's where we break down sports, culture, and controversy with facts, fire, and fearless honesty. Here, truth cuts through the noise, and hype gets exposed. From football to track and field, from world issues to local debates, we ask the tough questions, speak without fear, and go deeper than the headlines. We don't follow the crowd, we set the trend. While others recycle the same tired takes, we bring fresh insight, unfiltered analysis, and bold perspectives. No echo chambers, no puppet talk, just real conversation for people who think for themselves. Listen with your brain, not just your ears. Think critically, question boldly, and speak freely. This is Kranky Live, where reason rules the mic and truth always win. Come on, let's get into it. Hey guys, hear me in YouTube land. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Welcome to the Kranky Live program, where we bring you all things sports. And today it's another World Cup game. We're in the big boys territory now, right? This is quarterfinals, 8 teams remaining. And before I jump into today's game, I'm put up the 8 team. So you can see the quarterfinals here, team. France plays Morocco today. Tomorrow, Belgium plays against Spain. I'm not sure how Belgium and Spain play after England, they play before England. But anyway, and then we're going to have England play Norway and Switzerland play Argentina. Those are the remaining games. Before I start, Juras, Jargons, bless up, thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys joining me for what should be a very interesting game. And as I said, we're in the big boys territory. If you think about the last couple of World Cups and even the Euros, some of these teams are staples. Maybe not Belgium, but Morocco was semifinal last World Cup. France were in the final. Argentina won. England lost to, I think, France in the quarterfinals. So a lot of these teams are there around there. Switzerland is an anomaly. And even Belgium, who had the golden generation with the Hazards and the De Bruyne, that team has changed materially. And those changes were done in this last World Cup. So really a good setup. And Spain has been there. Obviously, they won the last Euro. And England lost. And people say England not good, but England lost. People think about England's record, 2018 semi-final, 2022 quarterfinal, no quarterfinal again, and finals in the last 2 Euros. So they have done well, just can't get over the line. But these are the top teams, and only 8 teams have won the World Cup so far, right? Only 8 teams. So it's a very prestigious group. England being the anomaly in that equation, frankly. Give more recent results, having won in 66. Spain won in 2010, Germany won 2014, 2018 was France, 2022 Argentina. So a lot of these teams are there and about there and continue to play really well in these competitions. If you look at the 2 teams, and these are the lineup for the game, you look at the Moroccan lineup and you look at the lineup for France. The France team sort of picks itself on a continuous basis. This is the France team. The big miss here is what's his name? Sabiri for Morocco, who pulled a hamstring in the last game. He plays center forward. He's going to at least he plays center forward for Morocco. He's going to Bayern Munich. Huge loss, and scored about 3 in these competition. Huge loss for Morocco, but sort of regular team. You have the captain Hakimi, who is on the right. But look at the team. Bono, Hakimi, Mazraoui, Diop, Edine, Boadi, Talibi, Kunahi, Konos, El Ayanu, and Diaz from Madrid. And then for the France team, it's the same team. Apart from Bartola being out and put in Doué, you have Maignan in goal, Digny, or Lucas Dini from Aston Villa, Upamecano, Bayern, Kunde, Barcelona. These are all the known teams that these players play for. Saliba, Kone, and I think the way I see Kone playing, Arsenal should think about him versus even Guimaraes, to be honest. Rabiot, Dembele, Mbappe, Olise, and Doué. Last time against Paraguay, Doué got that penalty that allowed progress to go through. Mbappe to the penalty and scored. But if you think about the two teams, Morocco's had a tough journey, tough games actually, tough zone in Brazil zone and came through really well. Drew with Brazil, obviously. And then last game against the Dutch, were able to overcome the Dutch on penalty kicks. Very difficult team. Remind me of Jamaica in one respect, in that they have access to diaspora players. And I always bring the Jamaica thing in this whole mix because it's pertinent. Because diaspora, I call this the Diaspora World Cup or the Immigrant World Cup. If you don't have a couple of black players in the team, you're not doing well. And the only team that doesn't apply to is Argentina, because it's a country that don't like people of dark shaded skin. That's my view. That's their history. I think in the 19th century, 18-something, Argentina had 1/3 black population. Can barely find a black population, find a black in the population nowadays. But anyway, but some are there. But they are one of the few South American countries. One of the only South American countries that don't have a black player in their team. Even a Latin American country like Mexico does with Quinones. So it should be interesting in terms of this game. Morocco is a good team. They play well. France is a very dynamic team. There's a contrast here where Morocco has about a flood the midfield. So they're playing more of a 3-5-2, it appears. While France is going to play their traditional, I call it 4-2-4. You may call it 4-3-3 with Olise playing the 10, but something like a 4-2-4, given Olise is a natural winger. So it should be interesting. Crumbling saying, I'm still hurting after that loss. They shouldn't have lost like that. Hey, losses are in the World Cup are challenging and tough. You lose on penalty, or you lose like Egypt and Senegal did, which they sort of gave the game away. Those coaches have to take responsibility. If you're up 2-0 with 50 minutes left, there should be nobody scoring no header against your team. They may penetrate you, they may score from outside the box, but your defense should start about the 18-yard line. Don't push too deep. Give the keeper a chance to go get the ball. And then you can't play football where the best player on the field get to walk all game and nobody now mark him. That doesn't make any sense. You can't have Messi on the field. I keep telling people in these situations, which is you play what we call a box and one, which is, it's a basketball term, which is you play zone for 10 people and you play one man for one. Especially late in the game, Messi can't touch the ball, people. Messi needs to be marked up one-on-one. You get one defender or one midfielder say, you know what, you're not playing this game for the rest of the game. Mark Messi for the rest of the game because you're going to pop up someplace. And you make sure you don't touch the ball. If you touch the ball, you may just push him over. But these the Senegal game against Belgium and the Egypt game against, even in the Egypt game, people, even when Egypt was 2-2, they had a breakaway. And Marmoush just had to chip the ball up to get to the person on the right, and he give the ball away and he go down, right? So like give the ball away, trying to beat 4 men by himself. Give the ball away, go down, score for the second goal. And then Marmoush turned the ball over for no reason. Marmoush had a horrible World Cup. But somebody with that pedigree that he has playing at City and cost 70-something million and making £200,000 a year, he's been awful for Egypt. Hasn't turned up. Salah turned up a little bit. Marmoush didn't turn up. You can't have your big players not turning up. And when your big player is on the bench for almost all the game, it tells you something about how the coach feel about them. But we've seen that in this World Cup, not because you play for a big team, and Jamaica should take a lesson from this. I mean, you have to start. Look at Belgium, for example. Lukaku is on the bench. Doku is on the bench. De Bruyne is on the bench. All the so-called big players on the bench. And yet, they look like a much better team, a much more fluid team. So you see the same thing here. Now, for this game, the strategy I would expect is that Morocco plays counter-attacking football and transition football, and France play how they normally play, which is spread the field wide, create space for Mbappe, Olise dictating, and Rabiot and Kone cleaning up. And they have the two very good center half. Luka Dean and Kunde, good right, left, and left back. I don't think they're the best. I think Luka Dean can be gotten at. And I think Kunde is a good player. But Kunde started at center half, And now he's playing right back for Barca and for Barcelona. And right back for the sort of, that's it. That's his position now. But he's a good player. France is a very good team. But as Paraguay has shown, if you're very well structured defensively, and Paraguay didn't have too much good attacking players, apart from Enciso. If you have quality players who can, like a Hakimi, who can break on the right, or Diaz, who I think has had a very good World Cup, and Boadi control things in the middle, you can do really well. The challenge for Morocco is going to be this. Hakimi loves to overlap. So how do you play Hakimi today? Because when he played against Brazil and he overlapped, he gave Vinicius Jr. ability when they countered to get behind the defense. Even though people, I have to mention this, Vinicius Jr. And I hear people talking about Arsenal should think about pursuing him. First of all, we can't afford his wages. Maybe we can afford his transfer fee, which probably about a 150. Can't afford him wage. Can't want about $500,000. We just kid away structure. But now I think it's that. Vinny can't play for my team. Vinny's a brilliant going forward. Vinny is one of the laziest footballer in the football people. And in today's football, you gotta play both ways. Vinny plays no defense. Watch Vinny in the game. I was watching them again the other day when they lost against Norway. And they didn't lose because of him. They should have won the game. Ancelotti was the main problem with the team. Who he picked, who he didn't pick, and the decision he made during the game. I think Ancelotti was awful, frankly. The fact of the matter that he put on Hendricks, who was awful against Japan, didn't warrant coming in the game. Guimaraes took the penalty. That's what they decided to do. It is what it is. But Ancelotti's changes just had Martinelli playing midfield. Even though Martinelli did well the other game as a second forward, it was a mess. It was a mess. But if you're a Brazil fan, feel for you. But Brazil also needs to improve because they keep complaining about players playing overseas versus playing in Brazil. I can't believe when people lose or they find an excuse for losing. How do you think Hakimi's legal issues in France are affecting him mentally in his performance? I actually think these players play above that, When you're on the field of play, I think it's a reprieve for them. I think it allows them to get away with all the madness because I watched Partey played for Ghana, and his is worse than Hakimi. He has about five accusers in terms of being on rape charges, just like Hakimi. I thought Partey was brilliant in those games, playing the role that he played. The more I watch Partey play in those games, I'm like, if Partey learned his football in Ghana, why can't other players? I know it's very unique for some players sometimes. Learn some of it because his brain as a footballer is unbelievable. And I always thought Partey looked older than his age indicated. Yeah, I'm lazy on him. No, man, I'm lazy. Go watch a game, people. Ricardo, please go watch him. Watch him. He does no running back, Ricardo. Him fake jog to people. He does, all he wants is the ball. Then he comes alive. Otherwise, he does nothing. And that's why they struggle. Because they have slow midfield in Casemiro and Guimaraes. Think about it. They don't have a 10, so then fake Martinelli, who will play some defense, but he's lost in that position sometimes. Or then play Paqueta there, who's not a good defender. So you have a slower Casemiro, slower Guimaraes. Paqueta don't play defense. Vinny don't play defense. Oh, if we win. That's why Norway doubled them in passes. But anyway, this is not about Brazil, because they're home and they should be home. But they have to revisit their team and their coach. I know Ancelotti won a lot of Champions League, but is that more about Real Madrid and their star-studded team versus Ancelotti, who's more of a man management than a strategist? Yeah, no, they've been poor. They have a lot of players who play overseas and play at the highest level. They just don't have a team. Like Norway looks like a team. And they have a few good players. Noku and Oscar Bob are really good. I think they both should start. They probably don't want too many black players in the team at the same time. But anyway, I think both should start from what I've seen from them. Because the last game they played, they were involved in both of those goals. Or the game before that. Not the last game. The game before that. Where Noku scored that screamer. But no, and Oscar Bob looks good when he comes on. Each time he's in the game. But Game is about to start. We are at 3:54. It's the first quarterfinal game between Morocco and France. I think France has been the favorite before the World Cup, still is the favorite. I do think where you get at France is in the midfield and out wide, but it's tough to keep them at bay. And even against Paraguay used a lot of dirty arts and foul and all that stuff, and France still prevailed. But it showed you that against a very good team like a Spain, France will have challenges. Because what Spain does, Spain don't have a lot of stars in the team now, apart from Lamar and say Rodri now. They can't name a ton of stars in the Spain team now, even though people like Raya, who's a brilliant goalkeeper, is on the bench. The thing that Spain have is a system. And that's what people need to learn is that sometimes the system can overcome the individuality. France have a lot of individual great players. Spain have a system where it's hard to get the ball off them. And even though they miss a lot of chances, they create quite a bit of chances, they punish you. They'll punish you in terms of sapping your energy because you're chasing them so much. So, looking forward to the game. Should be a good game. And let's hope we have a good game. Not picking a team. I think everybody expects France to win, and I would expect that they will. But it should be a good game. Look, I'm going to do a show on one of these topics one of these days when World Cup is over about the JFF and Jamaica. What I would say is this, is that the JFF, and no criticizing the JFF now, right? Because we have to move on. What's done is done. We're moving forward. The JFF needs to reconstitute itself because everything starts with the JFF. It needs to figure out what good looks like and then take it from there. And the first thing it needs to do is look inwards to figure out does it have the right people in the right seat with the right skill set, the right know-how, the right ability to execute this vision. But it also needs to create a vision. So it knows that it has a vision that it can leverage and use to then inform a strategy, to then inform a plan, and to then put process in place to execute the plan. Otherwise, we're going around a circle. But yeah, to answer your question, I think they should participate in as many of these competitions as possible with the view that, you know what? The World Cup is the destination and we have to suffer and feel some pain to get that destination. So we may have to sacrifice short-term success for long-term gain. Doesn't mean not trying to get success in the short term, But you may have to make some decisions which are more in the long-term future of the country and the football than just getting short-term outcome and short-term results. Bless up, Ted Dexter. How are you doing? They will need to do that. And they also need to think about, as we have seen in this World Cup, where France has over 90 people born in France playing the World Cup. The Dutch has over 60, England over 40, Germany has a ton. That the world is not just a little rock or a little island. It's a much larger world. And you need to leverage your resources, not just from a player standpoint, but from an institutional standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, from a management standpoint. You may have to leverage some remote talent to help you versus people on the island, especially the diaspora. You got to think broad, think big, have a vision versus just being myopic in your view and having the same outcome, which is not positive. And you hope that some of the people in those positions can see that and may have to sacrifice themselves to allow the country to achieve its objectives. But most people don't want to sacrifice themselves. Most of them don't. So teams are on the board. Games get ready to start. Looking forward to this game. It's France versus Morocco. And this should be a good one. Should be a good one. And by the way, the good thing I like about Morocco's team is the players they recruit are not what you guys, people have these negative terms, call them what left or rejects or whatever derogatory term they want to use. I think those terms are not befitting of people. But I would say this, they pursue players with their heritage regardless of their ability and regardless of how they're situated in the country that they were born in. And they have a strategy to recruit those players, and they get a number of them. That's why they're in the quarterfinal of this World Cup and the semifinal of the last World Cup. We don't have a recruiting strategy in Jamaica, which is part of the problem that Jamaica faces. You need a recruiting strategy. So my hope is that that's part of that whole vision and strategy and plan that the JFA put in place. Don't just think small and just get a coach and think that's it. That's, if I think about 100% as the barometer you judge things, that's about 25%, to be honest. You need a construct in place to allow you to be successful, including administration, players, financial support, and your coach. And also a system behind the administration where you can develop players. So the game is off. I think I may be a minute behind because it's 4:01. You guys hear me if I'm behind you? And by the way, the score is below my desk here, as you can see. So you see it says 0-0 because last time somebody came on cursing me that my commentary is trash because I didn't mention the score when the score is on the screen. France have possession as you'd expect. Morocco is pressing. Not a vigorous press, but I would expect they would wait until like they get to the halfway line before they start pressuring. But they're pressuring real vigorously and maybe burning up energy. What are you talking about, Keisha? Keisha, how are you doing, Keisha? Thanks for joining. We're just in the first minute of play. Morocco versus France. France in possession. Koundé taken out. Free kick to France. Or Kone, I should say, taken out, not Koundé. Kone is a good player. I would like to see where he ends up after the World Cup. Because he replaced Chouameni, who's at Real Madrid. So I find that really interesting. A lot of these players, I don't know how they're going to recover for their club season because people like Saliba playing football almost the entire year non-stop. You're going to need at least 2 months off. Oh, okay. Yes. Here comes Morocco. Diaz has been brilliant, by the way, people. I've been watching Diaz in this tournament. That's why people like Diaz should leave Real Madrid. Don't be staying at no club where you can't get no game time when you're a very good player. It's a waste of, now, okay, how good the money is, because you can make more money if you go someplace else and play really well. You want to see example? Look at De Bruyne and Salah. Ball turnover by Morocco, coming forward. Rabiot to Saliba. Back to Rabiot. Rabiot, he's playing. Look like playing a double pivot with Rabiot and Kone, which is not surprising. Dembele to Lucadine. Ball turnover by Doué. And Diop passes it back to his goalkeeper, who goes long. I don't think Morocco fears any team too, which is how you want to be. But they believe they're good enough. Three minutes in, score tied at 0. No one is dominating so far. Game has been played in the middle of the park. Here comes Mbappé, and one of these mazy runs. Plays it wide to Dembele, who comes forward. Morocco has enough cover. Koundé go outside of Dembele. Try to go inside to Olise, but ball one back by France. Saliba goes wide to Lucadine. To Doué. Doué is skillful, people. Goes by his man nicely, goes inside to Mbappé, who look to shoots just past the post. And it looks like it's a corner to France. You can't give Mbappé an inch. His feet are so quick. Keeper did push it wide. He says she likes both teams. Yeah, I would agree with that. Ball into the box. This is dangerous. Go. Look. It looked like a goal. That's what the referee says. The keeper may have saved it, but it looked like a. I'm not sure if the ball went in. It may not have because I don't see the referee calling it back. So the ball to the far post, headed down, looked like it was in, but I guess not. They do have the technology to determine if the ball crossed the line. We'll see later when we get a replay. I'm curious to see this. Ball across the far post. Upamecano headed it down. The keeper did save it before it got over the line. Good head by Upamecano. Yassine Bonon was right there. Coming Mbappé out of bounds. Goal kick to Morocco. Morocco is on the caught surely. Ball headed down. Good save by the keeper, actually. Was that a good World Cup? Is that a decent World Cup? And this World Cup has been shown. The keepers are probably getting more kudos than any set of players. Say the midfielders or the forwards. The forwards in terms of scoring goals between the Haalands, the Mbappé, the Messi, the Kanes have been great. But the keepers, whether it's Cape Verde, whether it's Norway, a lot of these keepers have been very, very good. Yes, that's been mentioned, but Deschamps says he's fine, right? The French coach says he's fine with it. Sure, they have integrity, so we'll see. We are 6 minutes in, score tied at 0. It must be great for Morocco. This country in Africa, it doesn't have all the resources. They must have a very good administration because they sure done a good job. When you get to the quarterfinal and semifinal of a World Cup, you're in a prestigious group. And you do it back-to-back World Cup. Now, some of these players are the same players, but it says a lot about the country and the team and how they operate. And what it also says is that they're making money, people. The federation making money. If you get to the quarterfinal and the semifinal, you're getting paid, which is what I don't think the JFF understand when they try to go this local thing. Here comes, I know people are talking about Boadi, but to me, Boadi just jogs across the field. He doesn't, when he gets the ball, he's pretty composed. But I'm not sure I'm impressed by his athleticism. I know he's only 18, but he doesn't seem to spend a lot of energy trying to get free to then progress the ball up the field. He jogs a lot. No, I don't think I've ever seen him sprint. Yeah. Seven minutes in, score tied at 0. Morocco now having possession. And Morocco is doing like they did in the last game, right? Morocco is keeping possession, trying to get their feet wet, trying to figure out how to progress up the field. And it's working. They're not keeping possession and letting France work. And France front four, they're used to pressing, except Mbappe, who operates like he's a little bit better than Vinny Jr., but when he was at PSG, he played no defense. I think he did a little bit better job for France, but not a lot for Real Madrid because him and Vinny competing about who can play the least amount of defense. Here comes France. Olise, who's been brilliant and has 5 assists in this World Cup. Rabiot wide out to Doué. Doué going on his man, goes inside, beat one, turns it over. And here comes Diaz, who's tripped up. Should be a foul by the referee, and he does call a foul. I think Diaz has been one of the players I've been impressed with. Rebound after missing that penalty against Senegal in the the final of the African Championship. So Morocco now enjoying some possession, coming forward. Ball over the top, trying to find Hakimi. Out of bounds. Goal kick to to France. Yeah, Hakimi will have to deal with Saliba coming across, who's pretty quick, actually. Here come Upamecano. Goes wide to Dembele. Dembele has not been really been in the game. We're 10 minutes in. He turns it over to Diop. Good tackle there by Kone to Mbappe, looking to shoot. Plays it wide to Doué. Don't let him come inside and go far post, which he tried to do. Ball is blocked out of bounds. Blocked by Diop. Throw into France. I think if you're playing right or left back in football, people, the sideline is your friend. Don't let anybody come inside on you trying to shoot. Force them to go sideline. Then you have the post is your friend, the sideline is your friend. Don't allow them to go inside. Don't care what they want to jiggle and step over. That's not your problem. Here comes Bouhaddi. Morocco trying to keep possession. Game is very slow, people. I'm sure it's hot. I think the game is in Boston. And go all the way back to the keeper. We'll look like he's going to go to Bouhaddi, back to Diop. And just keeping possession. And France is not pressing with vigor. Almost like a half-hearted press. I'll try to go along one-on-one with Saliba. Ball headed out. Or with Luka Dean, I should say. We're just playing what we call in Jamaica, bat up and catch. Just playing the ball from one side to the next. No pattern. And this is where Spain differs from most teams. Spain always has some pattern of play. And don't ever struggle to keep the ball. Ball over the top, trying to find... Again, they're trying to run Hakimi off his man. The question is, when Hakimi is upfield, what happens? And here comes Morocco, goes wide. Really poor pass there, actually. Player saying he got fouled. He turns over. Here comes Spain. Here comes France, not Spain. France trying to come forward with Dembele. Goes wide to Conde. Goes back inside to Olise, who's very deep. Olise coming forward. Game is a little bit slow. Olise down the wing. Goes all the way back. Ball to Upamecano, to Saliba. They're playing around at the topper, and Saliba turns it over. A really bad pass with Saliba, and here comes Diaz. He's going 1 against 4, and he's tripped up from behind. That should be a foul, referee. That's a foul. Referee says play on. That's a foul. That's awful. That's a foul. And he's down. That's a foul. I didn't see that again. Is he saying he touched the ball and then touched the man? It looked like a foul to me. France has it. Mbappe in the box. Good play by Morocco to recover from that. I think Diaz is still down, actually. So if France scored from this play and he was fouled, they call it back like they did against Egypt. And Diaz has gotten up. And here comes Doué. Goes back to Luka Dean. Goes wide. Wide ball by Luka Dean. Luka Dean crosses. Brilliant cross. Headed out by Morocco. Here comes France again. Yeah. No, Doué is a very good player, but he's also a teenager, right? Still very young, so it's going to be a mistake. Yeah, I have to live with the mistakes that he makes. France just keeping possession. Olise is chopped down. Free kick to France. Possession is almost equal. 49-45. 49 to France. 45 to Morocco. It was a clear foul. It's not even close, people. Kone's foul on Diaz is not even close. It's a clear foul. He touched no ball, tripped the man up, and referee said, these referees are incompetent. Like that, he's right there. It's incompetence. Nothing else you can call it. Plain incompetence. He's not cheating. Here comes France. Ball wide, headed out by Morocco. It was a Conde. Conde comes wide to Olise. Gonna go wide to Luka Dean, who's a very good cross off the ball, by the way. You can see that Aston Villa is a really good left foot. Doué looking to go inside, does. Mbappe is free, turns it over, and here comes Morocco. Goes all the way back to the keeper, who almost turns it over. Very calm. And Morocco is playing out. Ball to Boadi. Boadi goes all the way wide to Hakimi. Morocco is a very good team. Ball out to Diaz. Diaz to Hakimi, 1-2. And Diaz turns it over. He had his man. Hakimi is a foul. Referee does call a foul. Hakimi got blocked. Referee does. It wasn't Hakimi. The player who was with Diaz, which is number 8, Onahi, he got blocked off by Luka Dean. Wow. I didn't say blocked off. He sort of stepped in his ankle, frankly. So free kick to Morocco, 15 minutes in. France doesn't look dominant in this game. And Morocco is showing that they're not here by luck. They're here because they're a quality team. Yeah, but he's not getting enough help over there, though. He needs help from his left side midfielder, who is supposed to be Rabiot. He's not getting that help. So free kick to Morocco by awful kick by Hakimi. I have no idea what he was trying. Maybe he was trying one of those Ronaldinho goal against Peter Shilton in the 2002 World Cup. But that's the only thing I could think why he took that free kick the way he did. Quite a bit of Moroccan fans in the. Can you imagine being a Moroccan fan in football today? You have a lot to cheer for. Here comes France. So do French fans, actually. France trying to play out, and Morocco is pressing. Ball headed by Dembele, poor header by Dembele. But France recovers. Luka Dean to Mbappe. Mbappe shrugs off one. It looks like he's trying to run by all these players. Ball out of bounds. Throw into Morocco. Mbappe is not happy. Thought the ball went off a Moroccan player. But it did go off him. Ricocheted off him. Diop tried to play out, but poor clearance. Luka Dean to Rabiot, inside to Kone, who has Kunde wide and should go to him. Decide not to go to Upamecano. Inside to Olise. Olise back to Upamecano. France seem a little bit confused in their attack. Dembele is not doing much. Doué is not doing much. And part of it is Morocco's quality. But France seem to be struggling about how to play. And I think they're overloading too much at once. I mean, they're overloading the left back too much. So then it takes cramps the space for their wingers who are very, very quick and skillful and need room to maneuver. You put too many people forward, then all it does is bring the defense back and the spaces get congested. I don't think they need to put Kunde way up top along with Luka Dean. I think they can drop them back, force the Moroccans to spread out, and then try to go at them in their one-on-one situation. Here comes Olise to Mbappe, plays it wide to Doué, far post, ball headed over by Dembele. Goal kick to the Moroccans. I know, right? Well, you gotta have a few. You can't have 11 black players on the field. Come on, Jargons. That would not go over well with the French crowd. It's bad enough they have about 9. It's Luka Dean and Rabiot. You take Rabiot out and Luka Dean out. That won't look right for the French. They wouldn't. I don't think the French audience would buy that. France have 9, US have 7, England have 7, sometime 8. At some point, people start getting conscious, self-conscious. And they already have that in France. So, and you see even other countries talk about that when they talk about the French team. But then France has 98 players born in France playing in the World Cup. So they produce a lot of quality players. Here comes France again, 19 minutes in. And the score is tied at 0. Neither keeper has been tested so far. France now enjoying some possession. The winner of this game plays Spain next Tuesday. Spain playing against Belgium, who are very good against the US. Here comes Dembele, looking to shoot. Shot blocked. Morocco now dropping deeper and deeper. So Morocco playing a counter-attacking football, and France will be susceptible to that counter, given how far they're up the field. But also, I think Diaz needs to be closer to Saliba. I wouldn't have him that deep because when you get the ball, you can't get out. Sometimes you have to force the team to bring back more defenders, which means they have less people in attack. Here comes Dembele. Plays it to Koundé, looking across, does corner to France. Mazraoui with the block. If you just joined us, we are watching the first quarterfinal of the 2026 World Cup between France and Morocco. It's been a stalemate so far. Frank doing most of the attacking. Neither keeper has been tested. No clear-cut chance. Maybe one clear-cut chance, a header, just saved by the keeper. But apart from that, nothing much. Ball crossing the box. And that was to Rabiot, and he should have done better with that, actually. Headed over the bar. If he'd gotten over that, it's a chance. Maybe his feet are heavy, he can't get up, but that was a chance. Morocco trying to play from the back, but that's not good. They're getting themselves in trouble. They need to dump the ball. I know they want to keep it, but that's not good trying to play out the way they have. Here come Doing. Plays it back to Rabiot. Goes all the way back to Saliba. To Upamecano. Ball playing to Elise in the middle. Boadi doing a good job. The two central midfielders for Morocco doing a good job of ensuring that Elise doesn't get in the room. Rabiot to Elise. Trying to go far up post to Koundé. Poor pass. He has no right foot, and it shows. Out of bounds. Goal kick to Morocco. Yes, he should have done better. I would agree. But he can't. And I don't think he have the lift to get up to head that down. I have to leave right after this. I have to go to a viewing. Seems like a lot of people are leaving us nowadays. So I have to go to, unfortunately, a friend of the family. So I'll be gone right after this game. I won't do any post-game assessment. I'm already behind. Way behind. Just when the viewing starts. If you just joined us, we are watching the first quarterfinal game of the 2026 World Cup between France and Morocco. Score tied at 0. Here comes France. Mbappé to Elise. Goes across field to Dembele. Bad angle by the right back. Here comes Dembele. Dembele's having a poor game. Turns it over, and here comes Morocco. Good ball down the line. But he turns it over and goes back to France. One thing France have is good one-on-one defenders. Maybe not Luka Dean, but I think Koundé, Saliba, and Upamecano. Oh, a tackle putting on Mbappé. Mbappé is down. That was a hard challenge. And here comes Morocco. Ball plays out to Diaz. Diaz is there with Hakimi. Goes wide to Hakimi. Hakimi plays it inside. Ball back to Hakimi. Out of bounds. Corner to France. So Talbi, Hakimi, Diaz on the right side doing a good job. Yeah, it was a hard tackle by Hakimi, but it was all ball. Ball in the box, plays out, picked up by Mbappe. Plays to Doué to Elise. Elise turns it over. Wins it? France wins it back and turns it over again. Ball plays out to Diaz. Diaz has it. 1 against 4. Goes back inside to Talbi. Talbi will have Boadi outside. They play Buadi, El Canus, Diaz, trying to play the ball around, trying to find space, but France is pretty compact. Ball to Buadi, goes outside to Hakimi, who then goes outside to Diaz, trying to beat his man one-on-one. Goes to Buadi. Buadi is a very composed player, even though I don't see him expend a lot of energy. Trying to go over the top and get behind the defense, but turns it over. And here comes France. Here comes Elise. Hakimi's down. Elise doesn't have numbers, but he has Mbappé, and Mbappé has 2 men against him, and this may be a mismatch. He goes outside. Take him down, penalty. Clear penalty. With Mbappé, 2 men, it's unfair. And that was Mazraoui. Wasn't smart. Force him down the wing. Don't put a foot in. He's too quick. And Hakimi was down. Let's see if Hakimi was fouled. I don't think he was fouled, but he was down. So that was a counter by France, and that's where they have in Mbappe. Let's see what happened. Hakimi miscontrolled the ball. Yeah, he could have been fouled. Let's see what happens. Because Doué got no ball. That could have been a foul, actually. Yeah, that could have been a foul. It was clear foul by Mazraoui on Mbappe. I don't think he should have made the tackle. But I think Hakimi may have been fouled by Doué. We've seen that in the game against Egypt. So let's see what happens. Yep, he's going to go to the monitor. Has to. Has to go to the monitor. Has to go to the monitor. By the way, a lot of these players know each other because a number of them are from France and probably play for the junior national team in France. So it's France playing against France in some respects. I don't see him going to the monitor, though, which is strange. I don't see that foul against Hakimi being checked. Okay, VAR is checking. Okay. You got to go all the way back. So it's a penalty. But the question is, was Hakimi fouled before? Now, we've seen the Egypt game. You can't change now, even though we know what FIFA does when it comes to the Balogun yellow or red card. Or red card, I should say. Maybe the penalty check was checked and cleared because I see Mbappe's over it. I thought Hakimi was fouled, but hey, this is a very inconsistent World Cup. Yep, it's a penalty. Let's see what Mbappé does. He's very good at this, by the way. He's 65 for 79 on penalty. That's not a bad ratio. Better than Messi. That was an awful decision by Mazraoui. Awful decision. But as I said, it was mismatch. It was 1 against 2. Two defense against Mbappe is mismatch in Mbappe's favor. It's too quick. So he's ready to take the penalty. What are we waiting for? Is it? I'm not sure what we're waiting for. Taking forever. They must still be checking whether or not. No, let's see. It's a penalty. Make sure the keeper is on the line. The players are behind the line. VAR check is over. They just had to give the penalty. That was just a poor decision by Mazraoui, though. An experienced defender. You cannot put a foot in. You have to force the play. Get body on body and force him down the line. Mbappe come up, fake. Oh, save! What a horrible penalty by Mbappe. He faked first. The keeper didn't move. And he was off balance into the penalty. He rolled the ball to the keeper. That's an awful penalty. For a player who normally puts it in the corner, that's an awful penalty. That's a horrible penalty. If a 5-year-old took the penalty, we have chastised them. That's horrible. Here comes France again. It's Doué with the ball. Is inside. Looking to shoot. Goes back to Kone. What a penalty or not. Looks like Messi's penalty. Some of these stars' penalty have been horrible. Pick a spot and hit it. Ball out of bounds, throwing to France. So we've had the first miss. We saw it with Brazil against Norway. Mbappe complaining, but you have nothing to complain about Mbappe. That was an awful penalty. He faked and stopped, and the keeper just didn't move. Yeah, and then he didn't know where he was going. And he just passed the ball. He literally passed the ball to the keeper. And then he's complaining. Don't complain. You messed up. It's a hydration break, a fluid break. So we are at the first break of the first quarterfinal of the 2026 World Cup. And his score is tied at 0. Mbappe got a penalty off his hard work, but then gave it away with a horrible kick. Yeah, I know. You gotta go and kick the ball. You gotta get the ball on target and put your foot through the ball. That's my view. If the keeper save it, him save it because you know he can move before the ball is kicked. So therefore, if he dive right and you don't go with the power top corner, then you gotta lean over the ball, lean into the ball, pick a corner and put your foot through it. This hesitation stuff is getting people in trouble. Saw Eze do it in the Champions League final. See Mbappe do it. See a number of them do it. The one thing you shouldn't have is a centre half taking a penalty, unless it's Richard King. Because I saw Gabriel in the Champions League final. I saw Akande from Switzerland. I saw, who else I see? Somebody centre half has to take penalties, and it's way over the bar. It's not even close. It's like a clearance. Don't have no centre half take no penalty. Mbappe will score 2. Well, yeah, he should have scored 1. So we'll see what happens. He should have scored 1. He didn't. That was poor by Mbappe. Horrible penalty. But it makes the game more interesting, right? He scored 2 early. France scored 2. Morocco feel despondent. And then it's not a good game. So, still a good game. Still a very good game. If you just join us, we are watching. We are 30 minutes in 2020. And you know what? Maybe justice was served. Because I think Hakimi was fouled. I would say this, even though I've criticized referees in the Premier League. Some of these referees are really bad. They make so many blunders. Like Mbappe got cut down, no foul. Diaz got cut down, no foul. When they're clear foul, you got to call the foul. You're right there. It's not like the referee is far away and didn't see it. You see it. The champs is complaining to the ref. He missed the penalty. I hate to tell you that. He just kicked with the ball. He missed the penalty. The ref can't take the penalty for him. So we're in the 31st minute, 32nd minute. Score still tied at 0. France now dominating possession. They're now up to 58% versus 35% for Morocco. And if he doesn't add to 100, because the rest of it is just kick up and down, what they call contests. Here comes France again. Ball to Dembele. Looking to shoot with his left foot. For a corner. Oh, way out of bounds. Dembele's having a tough game. Yeah, Diop has always been a decent player, you know. And sometimes the World Cup make you look much better than you do because you have better players around you. And sometimes you're much better than you are because of your club team, you have good players around you. So the perfect example of a World Cup star who didn't materialize at club level is Rodriguez from Colombia. He's the epitome or the epitome of a player who looked brilliant at the World Cup but was ordinary at club level. Here comes Mbappe again. Doe, sorry. Turns it over. Morocco wins it. Here comes Hakimi. Coming forward. And plays out of bounds, trying to find Diaz by Talbi and turn over to France. So Elise turns it over, run into trouble. Elise is having a tougher time in the last few games. I guess as the competition improves, quality shows or don't show. One thing I like with Boadi, he's very calm and composed under pressure. He turns out of trouble really, really well. For an 18-year-old, says a lot about him. Here comes Morocco. Just playing the ball around France. And France is not pressuring with any vigor. They're pressuring like how Brazil pressures. So it's when you have too much stars in your team sometimes. You can't get that defensive component to materialize. Here comes Morocco, Hakimi to Talbi, Morocco all the way back to Diop. Diop goes across field. Morocco coming forward, but not really playing through the lines really well. They look good in there, just above their 18. As soon as they get across midfield, it's a different story. When they get across midfield. So right now they have the ball, and France is allowing them to keep it because they're no threat. There's Boadi looking to go wide. It does to Diaz, who goes back to Unahi. Brilliant touch by Boadi. Ball plays wide, trying to go to the line to Diaz, but covered by Upamecano. Ball headed out, and here comes Rabiot. He turns it over to Diop. Mazrahi. And Mazrahi gave away that penalty. That's heresy. You can't give a penalty like he did. But he got lucky. Mbappé bailed him out. I just talked about Boadi and he gave the ball away. Good take by Doué. Doué going forward. Brilliant save by the keeper. He has to hit it. He has to score that. I just talked about Boadi's composure under pressure. And he tried to beat Doué, who dispossessed him. And a good press by France. And then Doué didn't get much meat on the shot. He rushed it. He had time and he had space to pick a corner, and he didn't. So it's a corner to... Good save by the keeper, though, but the ball was close to him. Corner to be taken by Olise. Referee saying the ball is not on this corner spot, so it needs to be placed there before he can take the kick. Good corner, headed up by Astanias Kunde. France getting chances, you know. That's about the third header they should have done better with. Here comes Morocco. Morocco having difficulty passing half line out. The referee didn't call foul on that. And 2 players are down. These referees don't like to... I think they told the referees to let the game flow. They took it to an extreme. They're confused about what entails to be... What's a foul or not a foul. Here comes Morocco. Morocco does a good job of getting to the middle of their half, but after that, they cannot progress up the field. They need to mix up their game. They need to go long sometime, but then again, they don't have the speed to get behind France, so they're challenged. We are 36 minutes in, the score still tied at 0. Here's Morocco, Mazraoui, Diop. So we have France have 10 attempts at goal, and Morocco has none. Should I give you a clue as to how the game is progressing? Here goes Morocco. They're not getting on the field that well. And you know what in these games, people? You get all that pressure, you score 1, you lock it down, you win 1-0, you go home. France is timing their press. They have a very synchronized press. They let them have the ball for a while. Don't allow them to cross half line. As they cross half line, they pressure them quite a bit. See, and bad touch, really bad touch there by El Ainoui. Turn the ball over. And Falcone, free kick to France. Yeah, Doué should have done better with that shot, actually. Doué with the ball plays it out to Luka Dean. Luka Dean wide to Kunde. I can see a change being made with Dembele coming off the field. Dembele has not been good. And Olise has not been good either. But part of it is Morocco's defense. They're very, very deep. Morocco, good win by Diaz. Diaz has been good. Got a stint at Arsenal. Who would that be? How long did he play for Arsenal? Maybe I can recall who it is. French player got a stint at Arsenal. How long was he there for? There's a lot of French players who played at Arsenal. Quite a bit. Here comes Morocco again. Boadi not giving space to his compatriot there in the middle. El Anoyi. And as such, it's easier for France to press because he's not making the space to force the defense to make a decision. Boadi again into Anoyi. Here comes Morocco. This may be good. Going upfield, they find the one danger man in Diaz, putting pressure on the defense, play the ball inside. Cross blocked. France wins it, and here comes France again. Ball headed in by Morocco, out of bounds. Goal kick to France. Poor header. We are in the 39th minute of play, or the 40th minute. Morocco versus France. Not the most enterprising game, and not a lot of eventful events in this game. I thought it'd be a more enterprising game and a more watchable game. It's based on how Morocco is playing, but it hasn't been great. As you can see on the board, just below my desk, the score is tied at 0. Here comes France, turns it over again. Diop to Mazwai. And here comes Morocco. They're having trouble passing half line, though, which is not good. They were much better against Brazil or the Dutch. I'll show you that France is a different team. Because they have to keep so many men back. Even when they're getting the ball and going upfield, they can't overcommit as they have in the past. And even Hakimi is not just going ahead gung-ho, because you want to make sure he can recover in their transition defense. Oh, yes, and we got rid of him. I know you're talking about. He got a fallout with Arteta. It would come to me. And he went back to France. He was in the French national team. He played at Marseille, and I think he went to Spain. He was in the French national team. Yes, he was there under Emery, and then Arteta came over. He had a big fight in a game, big blow up in a game. Which team he played, and they blocked the keeper, and he got involved and telling the player how much he makes and all that. Yes, he looked like Rabiot. He have long flowing hair. Tall. His name is eluding me, but I know what you're talking about. You're right. I'm surprised he's not in the squad because I haven't heard about him for a little while, actually. But I know what you're talking about. Your name will come to me. No, you're missing nothing, people. It's the same old game. Boring, slow, prodding. Morocco playing to get up to the halfway line and turn the ball over. This is not one of the better games. Putting us to sleep. And France is so quick that when they beat a France player, the player recovers. Diop over the top. Trying to find Hakimi, who almost got behind the player. If you just join us, we are watching quarterfinal game between his name was Guendouzi. Matteo Guendouzi. Between Morocco and France. Morocco 0, France 0. Here comes Kone. 3 men on him. Does a really good job of keeping possession. Get the ball to Doué, who goes inside to Rabiot. Rabiot should have looked for Dembele. He decided not to go into Mbappé. Mbappé went back to Upamecano, who should go to Dembele. He decided not to. Now he does, when he's not in a position to do anything. Dembele coming forward. Turns. Plays it out to Upamecano, who goes inside. Try to go inside to that looked like Kunde out of bounds. Goal kick to Morocco. Yeah, it's Guendouzi. It's G, it's not B, it's Guendouzi. He had a temperament problem. He had an attitude problem. That was his biggest issue, his attitude. At least that's what's being in the press. I don't want to blast the player and say things about him which may not be the case, but that was what was provided by the press about him having an attitude problem, and that's why he was difficult to manage. So Arteta got rid of him. But yeah, he came to us as a teenager and did a good job. Played a couple of years, and then I think when we played Villa, we had a big issue, if I'm not mistaken. And Martinez was the goalkeeper. Was it Villa? I'm trying to remember what game we had a really big issue. Or was it Brent? I'm trying to remember which team. It was a kid who played for Brighton. He used to play forward for Brighton. I had a big blow up with him. Played for Brighton, then he played for Everton. Can't remember his name. 5 minutes of extra time. 45 minutes in. Scored, tied in this boring game. Brilliant ball to Mbappé, but the keeper read it. Came off his line and played it out. Good win by Morocco coming forward. Turns it over again. Elise trying to ward off Diaz. Play to Kone. Kone goes wide to Kunde. Kunde goes wide to Dembele. Dembele trying to go forward. Looking for the space. Crossing the box. Ball control plays out to Rabiot. Really bad decision by Rabiot. He had time and space. Luka Dean into Doe. Doe goes all the way back to Saliba, who goes to Kone with a shot. That was a really good shot. Blocked by Morocco. Not out of bounds. Still in bounds. Here comes Dembele. Plays it inside to Olise. Olise looking to shoot. Shot blocked. Morocco doing a really good job of stacking the defense. Luka Dean with a really good shot saved by the keeper. Good save by Bono. Luka Dean is a very powerful left foot, so you have to be very careful when he winds up. That ball was swerving. It touched it and hit the crossbar. What if they gave him a... Yeah, he barely touched it. It's fingertip. France with the ball, throw into France. We are the 47th minute. Score is tied at 0. Morocco 0, France 0. France has dominated the ball of late and have been the more dangerous team. Morocco have defended well, but haven't done much attacking-wise. Here comes Doué again. Down the wing, great defense by Hakimi, out of bounds. Goal kick to Morocco. Doué saying he got fouled by Hakimi. I think he's right. Hakimi jumped into him, grabbed his shirt, pulled it. Very, very smart by Hakimi. If that was in the box, you'd have to ask the question, is that a penalty? You won't get a free kick for it. He was grabbing his shirt and pulling him down. And to be smart about it, doesn't realize the camera sees everything from different angles. But also, Doué was holding his shirt, so it's half dozen of the other. Okay. Here comes Dembele. Has space and time. Beat his man, tripped up. Now the referee says not a foul, play on. And here comes Morocco. Morocco coming forward. Have time, have space. Don't have enough men though. There's 6 defenders back against 4 attackers. Ball played across to Hakimi, to Diaz. Back to Hakimi. Morocco is out of ideas when they pass their own midfield. Between El Kanous, Hakimi, Diaz, they're out of ideas. Trying to go through the French defense. Shot blocked by Rabiot. Referee going to give a free kick. Rabiot put his hand up. Luckily, he's not in the box, so that would have been a penalty. But if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so also. Yeah, Rabiot was lucky he wasn't in the box. That would have been a penalty. Can't hold your hand out, people. You got to put your hands behind your back. So free kick to Morocco, just outside the penalty area on the right side of the field, or the left side of the field, left side of the French goal, right side for Morocco. Let's see if this is taken by Hakimi or Diaz. To me, this is a Diaz over the wall, top corner. You know, Hakimi looked like he's going to take it. It's an awful free kick. I guess as the captain, he decides who takes it. That was an awful free kick. He's trying to curve it around the wall and he was nowhere close. That's a left foot free kick. That's not a right foot free kick. So we've ended the first half of the game between France and Morocco. Score is tied at 0. Not a lot to talk. I don't think I should even look at the stats here because there's not a lot to look at, except France has dominated possession. They have dominated chances. They've dominated number of corners taken. What they haven't dominated is the scoreline because the game is tied at 0. I'm going to take my normal 1 minute halftime break. I'm going to come back and we can go through some of the stats. I'm trying to see if I got any. So let me do this halftime break for a bit. Come back, we go to some of the stats and get ready for the second half. I don't know what happened, people. I thought I was speaking, but it wasn't coming through. I apologize. Sorry about that. I was talking for like 5 minutes without any sound. Somehow my system was on mute and I didn't realize it. I'm in a very uncomfortable setup, to be honest. It's not the best setup. But anyway, so I can't really see part of my screen. You guys can hear me now. I apologize. Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. I was talking for a bit actually. Maybe I cut that out the video. Can you guys hear me now? I was saying a couple of things. One is that it's not the most entertaining game. It's not the most watchable game. But France has been a much better team. and that is reflected in the stats. So let me go back over the stats because apparently you guys didn't hear a word I was saying. Hear the stat talking to the stats. Let me go over the stats again, people. I apologize profusely. But I was saying from the stats that there are no surprises in these stats, just given what we've seen. France created 3 big chances: the header in the first half by Upamecano, the penalty missed by Mbappé, and the shot by Doué, which he should have done better with, because he was at the top of the box and had to could pick either corner. And you've seen the shots at 13-1. France has dominated. And we're not seeing the best Morocco. But maybe that has to do with France more than Morocco. When France played Paraguay, it was the same thing. They dominated. Paraguay didn't play like Morocco. They were in the dark hearts of fouling and intimidating and doing all sort of manner of things to get France off their game. Didn't really work. France did get a penalty by Doué when he came on late. And in this game, Mbappé got a penalty in a transition play. And France just have to be patient. They're the much better team. Morocco struggled to pass halfway line. And it shows you how the quality can affect your play no matter how good you are. Now, it'll be interesting to see if France get by Morocco, what they do against Spain, for example, because Spain does possess the ball well and do get the ball up the field. It'll be interesting to see what happens in those games. But Morocco is struggling to get across the halfway line. Because if you assess the game, France selectively press, but even when they don't really press with vigor, Morocco still struggle to pass the halfway line. And when they press with vigor, they struggle to pass their 18, frankly. And I think what Morocco doesn't, the problem in Morocco is this: they don't have the speed to go over the top and get behind the France defense, where Saliba and Upamecano are very, very quick and very, very physical. So you're trying to play through the lines, and it's not working. So if you're the coach going at halftime, you're in a conundrum. You can't get behind them, and you can't play through them. What the hell do you do? I still think they have to mix it up, but they have to get the ball up the field quicker. They're taking too long to build up. France is much more athletic. They're covering off the space as well, and they're not allowing them time to maneuver and get behind the first line of defense or second line of defense. So they need to do a better job. As for France, take your chances. You missed a clear header. You had a penalty and do a muff shot. And I think Doué replaced by Bartolo at some point in this game. But you have to take your chance when you get them. I also think they may have to put some more size in the box and try to get the ball in the box. I think Diop has been good. I think Edine has been good. Mazraoui made a rash tackle, but he's played decent throughout the tournament. And what you don't want is a team to hang around. You get to 90 minutes or 120 and you got to go to penalty kicks. That's never a good thing as a flip of a coin, no matter how good you think you are. A little bit surprising that Olise has not been effective, to be honest. And Doué has not been more effective. Says a lot about, look, Doué's playing against Hakimi, who's a very, very, probably the best right back in the world. And this Moroccan team is a very good team. And they're playing well defensively. But Dembele has been effective. Probably the most ineffective of the players playing up front, the 4 of them. Olise has not been very effective. Mbappé has been, but he needs more service. And Doué has been hit and miss. So it'll be interesting to see how that materializes in the second half, what Deschamps does. Does he bring in Bartola for Doué? Does he keep the same midfield with Kone and Rabiot? Does he bring in Chouameni? Should be interesting about decisions he made. Does he bring in Cherki, who is brilliant in tight spaces, and maybe to do a better job than Olise has done so far? Well, Olise is what I call a long dribbler. Cherki plays the ball at his feet and change direction really well. So it should be interesting how that works out. I don't buy that. What does the weather have to do with playing the ball on the ground? I didn't see that. Are you saying because it affects their energy? It's too hot? That could be an issue. But I don't see where I see players dragging. Morocco seemed to be more comfortable in the weather than France. But France They got chances to score. They should be up 2-0 or 3-0. Morocco doesn't look like they're going to score between now and next year. They look no closer to scoring than they have been at the start of the game. So don't know how that will work out. I don't know how that's going to work out. But they don't look like they're going to score anytime soon. So not sure how that will work out in terms of Morocco and them being able to provide the challenge that's needed. Tomorrow, Belgium at 3 p.m. Belgium plays against Spain. It should be an interesting game. Belgium just destroyed the U.S. Even though the U.S. self-destruct at some point, but the U.S. were never good in attack against Belgium. Belgium could have scored more. There was no Doku. There was no De Bruyne. There was no Lukaku. Lukaku came on. De Bruyne. Lukaku and Doku came on later in the game. De Bruyne didn't. So maybe they moved on from De Bruyne, but they look very, very good. They look very, very good. And by the way, you guys should not be listening to the halftime pundits. You should be listening to Kranky. I'm very disappointed in you. But it's all good. It's an interesting game. And from the context of who's going to go forward, France, the closer you get to 90 minutes, the more they're going to get nervous. Now, I see they're showing the Moroccan team, and they will be besieged by Onahi is doing all the talking. You would think Hakimi would do all the talking. But a lot of discussion. Hakimi's now speaking. So they're having conversation about strategy. But they're the inferior team. No matter how much they want to talk, quality is quality. France is a much better team. The Heat? Okay. I didn't see where the Heat... Well, you can't really tell, right? Maybe people are conserving themselves because they want to see if they can last the entire game. But if you're France, you should be conserving anything given the quality that you have. You should just play. Okay. So the Moroccan players don't seem to be affected, but then again, they're only playing mainly defense. But it should be interesting in terms of seeing how what changes France make. Not necessarily personal changes, but changing in strategy to try to get their first goal. I still think Mbappé is going to score. He looks the most dangerous player. No other player on France they want to score. Dembele has been out of it. If I was a coach, I'd take Dembele off the field and put Bartola on the left and Doué on the right. I just think Dembele is he's not in the game. Now, he can change that in the second half. He's a very good player, Ballon d'Or winner, but I don't think he's done much in this game. But I can see that he hasn't done much, even though I haven't checked the individual stats. So if you just join us, we're getting ready to commence the second half of the first quarterfinal game between France and Morocco, where the game is tied at 0, no scored so far. And even though France has come close to scoring, Morocco certainly has not. Well, this is part of the concern of many media personnel and others about the weather in the U.S., whether it's thunderstorm or the heat. That's why hydration break became a norm throughout this tournament. I'm sure hydration break will become more normalized in this part of the world and maybe in Africa. Not in Europe because they don't get any sun, so you ain't got to worry about it in Europe. Maybe a little bit in Spain. They don't get sun, so you ain't got to worry about it. New Wave Entertainment. How you doing, New Wave? Bless up. Thanks for joining. Who you picking to win this game, New Wave? You think France going to walk it? Morocco doesn't look that good. I'm looking at the crowd now, and most people have gone for the halftime break. So the stands are half empty. Sure they'll come back soon. Getting ready to start the second half. Ball kicked off. France. Nowadays, people play the ball in the corner for a throw-in. For some reason. They're not trying to keep possession and play through the lines. They just go deep. Try to put pressure on you deep. And ball turned over by the goalkeeper for Morocco. Yassine Bounou. So France with the ball, Upamecano to Saliba, back to Upamecano. We're going to go out to trying to find Dembele. Tried a flick, an ambitious flick. Went nowhere. Big in France, okay, makes sense. They're the pre-tournament favorite. Nothing has changed since then, but they're finding it tougher as the competition progresses. Ball thrown to France again. Ball out of bounds off the Moroccan player. France, neither team seems to have made any changes. Guess both coaches must be happy with the players so far. I still think in the first half, Dembele was the offensive potency of France is well known. But only to me, Mbappé distinguished himself in the first half. We'll see what happens in the second half. Kone to Dembele to Olise, who goes deep to Saliba. Back to Olise, crossfield to Kone. Goes wide to Kunde to Dembele. Dembele tries something. I have no idea what Dembele was doing. Played the ball between the legs, but it went to no one. Here comes Morocco, and they have a breakaway. And they have numbers. They have a man wide. Hakimi is wide. He has a chance to shoot, and he cuts it back. If he just shot one time, he has a chance to score. I have no idea why he stopped the ball and played back, and now the play is broke down. Here comes Talbi against Kunde. Plays it inside. Ball in the box and turns it over, and here comes France. No, one back. Diaz, we have shot, blocked. Both teams struggled around the 18-yard line, and that was poor by Morocco. They had a chance to do something, and not sure why Hakimi stopped the play. Well, here comes Hakimi again. Morocco's gotten upfield much further than they have throughout the entire first half, and look dangerous doing so. And France is walking. Look at the France team. They're just basically just walking. Maybe the weather is a factor, as you alluded to earlier, by a number of you in the chat. Okay, bless up. I don't think it was really Kunde. I think it was a bad decision by Hakimi. He has to shoot that ball. Here comes Morocco. Try to play over the top to Talbi, but he was blocked off, and that was El Kanous. Here comes Kone, go long to Mbappé. He should be offside, I think. Ball played out. Is that it was to Doué, sorry, not Mbappé. And it wasn't offside, actually. He was onside, way onside. Kept in by Diop, kept him onside. But then he miscontrolled the ball, and it's a goal kick to Morocco. A lot of substitute warming up at the halfway point, so that's interesting. Normally substitute warm up the 50-plus minutes, but that means the coaches are thinking about making changes. Diop trying to go along, trying to find Diaz, headed down to Rabiot. Rabiot plays it to Olise. Olise coming forward, plays to Rabiot. Good block by Morocco. Here comes Morocco, trying to transition, trying to break. Ball played over the top, trying to find out of bounds. Good attempt. Trying to find, Kone is down. And he looks in a lot of pain. We've already seen one ACL in Onana of Belgium against the US. Kone seems to be writhing in pain. Oh, okay, Jargons. I figure that's when you're talking about when he had the ball out. But I think when you don't get a lot of chances, then Hakimi has to shoot that ball. Has to take the shot. He had space. He had time. Try to go for our post. By the way, if you haven't hit the like button, see you in the chat, please do so. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. Here comes France again. We're in the 50th minute. And the longer the game goes, the more nervous players become. And the more it become a crap game whereby you don't score, you start thinking about penalty kicks, and that's not a good thing. France have a lot of talent on their bench. But this starting lineup is normally what they've been going with for the last few games. France trying to walk the ball to the field, and Morocco just making sure they're behind the ball. Upamecano to Olise. Olise goes back to Upamecano, goes inside to Kone. Kone coming forward, turns it over. Morocco. This game is difficult to watch. I'm not going to lie. Maybe we've been spoiled, or I've been spoiled so far in this World Cup. Here comes Morocco trying to come forward. Hakimi. Morocco has numbers. 3 players on the left side against 1 defender. Ball played out wide to Talbi. Talbi trying to go inside and turns it over. A lot of French fans in the stand, but also a lot of Moroccan. But it actually turns out to be a corner for Morocco. They haven't had too many of those. They bring a lot of players forward. Now, this is where France can break people. If France get the ball, I would tell Mbappé, stay in the middle of your own half. Don't come back and defend. Short corner taken by Morocco. France wasn't looking like they weren't ready. And they take a short corner and show they want to do with it. Ball crossing the box, blocked. And not much being done. Ball kicked out of bounds by Morocco for a goal kick to France. France coming forward. This is Lucadine. And he slows it down and goes back inside to Saliba. I'm sorry, to Rabiot. Rabiot plays it wide to Koundé. Koundé to Dembele, who's had a horrible game in my view. Koundé goes it back inside. Dembele back to Koundé. Koundé to Upamecano, who goes inside to Kone. Kone goes to Lucadine. Lucadine outside to Doué. Doué looking for a pass. Goes to Mbappé. Back to Koundé. Goes wide to Dembele. Has a man one-on-one. Has a chance to go by him. But will not get help. Dembele goes back inside to trying to go to Mbappe. We tried to flick, but that didn't work. And here comes Morocco. Morocco coming forward. And it's Talbi against Upamecano. All played at a bounce by Upamecano. Throw into Morocco. Morocco is looking for much more transition in this half. Through Talbi on the left. And he's doing a good job so far. Jargon says difficult to watch is an understatement. Yeah, it's not a good game to watch. It's been poor. I know England is playing in Miami. This is in Boston. And Miami's probably going to be hotter, but I hope the game is not like this. To Boadi. Well, throw back by Morocco to Boadi. Boadi to Diop. Diop back to Boadi. Boadi comes wide. To Edine, goes back, turns over, free kick to France. Man, I'm commentating just like the game. Boring. It's hard. You can't make excitement out of nothing. Here comes France. It's Saliba. Plays it inside to Upamecano, who's going to go to Elise. Elise turns it over and to Diaz, and Diaz had to turn it back over to Kone. Kone goes to Mbappe. Mbappe coming forward. Look like he wants to do something. Go wide to Doué. Doué shot, save, straight to the keeper. Good shot, a lot of power, but needed to have more direction if he wants to go to the far corner. It's a good shot, but it was pretty easy save for the keeper, who actually dropped it, by the way. Caught it a little bit nervously. And goes downfield all the way back to the French keeper. Poor. Here comes France again. Saliba. I don't see Rabiot in the game. He's going way upfield and he probably should be dropping deeper. France is not being smart about how they set up. Here comes Dembele. Goes back inside to Koundé. Koundé to Upamecano to Saliba. He's going to go all the way across. He goes to Mbappe, who goes outside to Lucadine. Mbappe is now dropping really deep because he wants to touch the ball. Rabiot back to Elise. Elise coming forward. Beats one. Comes in the box looking for Mbappe. Back to Mbappe, who shot wide. He has to hit the target on that. That was a very good chance. That was Elise driving at the defense, finding Mbappe, who tried to shoot. Look at the ball bounced up. Elise went to two men, beat Boadi, flicked the ball over. Mbappe was offside though. But also he was not going to score that, but he was offside. Really good play by Elise to break through the defense. Mbappe with a wild shot. Wasn't close to scoring, but he was offside. Brilliant ball by Dembele, plays out wide to Doué. Doué went to Mbappe. Mbappe out back to Luka Dean. Luka Dean to Rabiot. Rabiot inside to Doué. Doué back heel to Mbappe. Mbappe's out wide. Bounce off Hakimi. Mbappe goes back to Luka Dean. Luka Dean to Mbappe. Mbappe is walking with it. Nobody wants to tackle him. Doué comes all the way across field to Upamecano, who comes to Dembele, who is too inside. He should be outside and create more room inside. Here comes Elise. Upamecano inside to Kone. Kone goes to Saliba. Doué inside. Dribble pass 1, 2. Plays it back to Mbappe, who turns brilliantly. Crosses far post, but out of bounds. Mbappe's feet are so quick, but not making the best decision in the final third. And the thing about it is, Morocco has a lot of people back. So even if you get the ball in the box, they have much more defenders than you have attackers. 57 minutes in, and no one has scored yet. Still tied at 0. Nothing happening now to talk about. Morocco finally won the ball and put it on the ground. And then almost turned over, but a handball against Koundé. Free kick to Morocco. We are in the 58 minutes of play. Morocco versus France, the first quarterfinal game of the 2026 World Cup. And the score is tied at 0. French fans trying to create some kind of a momentum for their team. A lot of jumping up in the stands, but nothing to jump up about, to be honest. Diop trying to go along. Ball headed over. Upamecano headed back, all the way back to his keeper. And the XG is now 2 for France and 0.06 for Morocco. So Morocco has done nothing, really. Doesn't look like scoring. I didn't get 0.06 because they haven't done anything. Here comes France. It's Upamecano. The shot totals are 15 shot by France, 4 on target, 2 by Morocco, 0 on target. Here comes Kone. Go all the way across field to Doué. I think Mbappe needs to go wide sometimes so he can have more room to touch the ball, and Doué just turns it over. Doué having a tough time. Good win by Rabiot coming forward. Luka Dean cross. Played out by Mazraoui. Morocco. Not much happening. Mbappe with the ball looking to shoot. Foul post. Goal! Kylian Mbappe with a brilliant strike. He's the best player in the World Cup, people. I know Messi has been brilliant. I know Haaland has been good. I know Kane has been good. But that's a brilliant goal. Ball just bouncing around from one team to the next. Got to Mbappe outside the box. Lift his head up. Far corner. No chance for the keeper. Morocco is complaining, but I'm not sure what the complaint is about. Would love to see it. Brilliant goal by the irrepressible Mbappe. Just a difference maker. So the ball was headed down, played up, headed down again, controlled by Mbappe. Oh, just outside the box. He had little or no room. And he used Diop as a guide, just played the ball around him, just out inside the post. He used the defender as a guide. He didn't even look at the goal. So he knew where the goal was. He took no glance at the goal. He used Diop as a guide and just played for a corner. The keeper had no chance. Brilliant, brilliant goal. Self-made goal. Brilliant goal. That's why he's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. And been good since he's been a teenager. And not only is he quick, he has the end product. May not play any defense. May be a little bit arrogant, but you cannot criticize the brilliance. Because that was brilliant. France won. Morocco's here. And frankly, people, Morocco has done nothing to be in this game. They've been, people may say it's the weather. Well, I could see the weather in Morocco. People may say, well, they're an African country, so they should use the climate. No, most of the players are born in Europe and play in Europe. El Khanous is off, Bouadi's off, Amrabat and Rahimi are on. Amrabat, who played really brilliantly in the last World Cup in 2022 in Qatar, he's on to replace Bouadi, and Rahimi's on to replace El Khanous. Pretty quick changes. The midfield is not a problem. They need better front play. I guess the midfield is part of the challenge. They're just playing against a much better team. Sometimes that's how it is, people. You could change 100 people you want to. Class is class. So Liba just booked the ball. Mbappe is down. I'm not sure. He ran to Diop or somebody. But he's down in the middle of the field and holding his hand up. Looked like he ran into an elbow or something. Let's see what happens. And he's still down. Here comes Morocco. They'll know have to attack more, so they're going to be more open. So this should be the first goal is change the game. So Morocco has to score. They have to be much more open. They have to take more risk. And that's going to play into France's hand. Oh, what an awful tackle that was by Diop on Mbappe. So now we're going to butchering. Wow. You went right through him. And then talking crap. Yeah, that could be a red card, people. He went straight in his ankle. That could be a red card. If he caught him more flush, it'd be a red card. That's a bad tackle. That's a bad tackle. And Diop is saying that he faked it. No, you went through the man. I think Morocco's done really well. You did quarterfinal of the World Cup and semifinal, 2 consecutive World Cup. You've done well. Oh, so before he blocked Mbappe, and now he just put a foot through him. So he's trying to send a message, but it's too late. Here comes France again. The game is open. Olise to Rabiot. Rabiot coming forward, plays out to Doué. Doué has space and time. Morocco is back. Back play to Rabiot. Rabiot crosses, blocked by Morocco. Throw into France. Game is opening up. Morocco is going to be more open. More opportunities for France. I think we're in an interesting phase of the game where it could get ugly. So in terms of the scoring lead, Mbappe 8, Messi 8. Those are the numbers. Those who are vying for the golden boot. Really great race. I think Mbappe will win it. France with the ball. Koundé goes back to Upamecano, goes to Saliba. Morocco now trying to press further up the field. They're going to become more susceptible to the counter as they press, or the transition. Here comes France. Upamecano goes wide to Olise, who goes inside. Looking at pass inside, doesn't have one. Almost turns it over. But Kone wins it back. Ball plays outside to Koundé. Koundé back to Kone. Kone turns. Plays it inside to Olise, who turns it over, trying to be cute. But player cannot outrun Upamecano. That's a brilliant goal by Mbappe. Just seen the replay. That goal is pure class. Pure class. He's been one of the main players of the tournament so far. As you can see on the screen, it's 1-0 to France. Here comes France again. Goal! Dembele! Allowed to dribble 15, 20 yards, top of the key, picked his corner, right-footed. He's mainly a left-footer. And the gates are opening up. The floodgates are opening up. France 2, Morocco 0. I think that's game, set, and match, people. France is taking him to the cleaners. Brilliant goal by Dembele, who's had a poor game, to be frank. But he's a Ballon d'Or winner. He's been brilliant for PSG. They have won 2 consecutive Champions League. We won't talk about the French league. And I think Morocco is trying to figure out what to do now. They don't have the quality. They're just better than him. Then Dembele picked the ball up in the center circle, came down and just picked the corner. Keeper should have done better, by the way. Keeper should have done better. Try to go far post. A little bit out of his range, but he should have moved across quicker. But it's a really good goal. It's a really good goal. Quality. France is quality everywhere. Quality, a lot of quality in their attacking. The center of the defense is almost perfect between Upamecano and Saliba. Koundé is a good right back. Luka Dean, you can question. In the middle of the park, Rabiot has been there forever. And Kone replaced Tchouaméni. Give you an idea about his ability. And Tchouaméni has been a stalwart for Real Madrid. Then up front, you have the dynamic 4 in Doué, Mbappé, Dembele, and Olise. We're at the hydration break. We're 67 minutes in. It looks like this one will not go the distance. There's a knockout in the, I'm going to call it the 6th round. First was Mbappe with a brilliant goal. It wasn't even a build-up play. And then Dembele with a good run from the middle of the field, the top of the 18, picked the right corner, placed it, keeper dived. Could he have gotten there a little bit quicker and be a little bit stronger, maybe, but it was still a good shot and a good goal. Looked like it's going to be over. And France going to be in the semifinal again of another World Cup. Think about it. You know, we talk about Spain a lot, and we should, because they've been brilliant over the last 20 years, especially the last 12. But France has been in the 2018 World Cup final. They won it. 2022 World Cup final, lost on penalty kicks, and now in the semifinal. And they keep producing players like you produce water, people. They're everywhere. Dime a dozen. 98 players from France in the World Cup. They have been able to get players from all these countries, all these immigrants that come into France, and supplying a lot of supply for their football team, and it's showing. Not even Messi can help them against France, because then Messi don't play no defense, so they only have 10 defenders on the field. So you gotta have 11 defenders against France. Morocco's problem, they're just not. They're just inferior to France in a number of reasons. Why? So less technical ability, less athletic ability, less strategic ability means poor outcome. France is just better in every facet of the game. Defensively, even in the midfield where they're challenged a little bit, and up front they're devastating. If I'm Morocco, I'm going to take my money. How much you get for? You probably get about 20 million, I would think, at this stage of the tournament. Take your money and go home and reinvest in your program. But France is showing why they are the pre-tournament favorite, and they're going to run into a Belgium or Spain team next time around, which is going to make it interesting because Spain is a difficult team. Spain hasn't given up a goal the entire tournament so far. And they have won about 30-something games straight, even though that's not necessarily true because I think they lost a game in the Nations League on penalty kick, which didn't count against their record. But what they were, 38 straight or something like that? So it should be interesting. Something got to give. So we see France making a change. Zaire Emery coming on. I assume that is for Kone? Yeah. Surprised it's not Tchouaméni. So Zaire Emery coming on for Kone. And Zaire Emery, as you know, can also play right or left back. Plays midfield, but can also play in the defense as an emergency cover. I thought we would brought out Tchouaméni, but given that they only have 20 minutes remaining, but France has so much quality. They can pick two teams and probably still win the World Cup. Because imagine someone like Cherokee not even getting a run out, Chiamani not getting a run out, Kanati not getting a run out. They have a lot of quality. Throwing to Morocco. We're in the 71st minute. Morocco didn't turn up for this game. Well, they turned up. They just got outclassed, I should say. They turned up, but France is just a juggernaut and has been for a while. France has been good for years, though. Because they won World Cup in 98 in France. And what, they were in the final, semifinal for 2006, when Zinedine got that headbutt. They were horrible 2010, and they had an awful situation occur in 2010. 2014, so-so. 2018 won, 2022 final, and looking good for 2026. Here comes Morocco. It's Taribi. He goes all the way back. Morocco can't even penetrate because they can't get by. No Moroccan players really gotten by a France player. You got to be able to beat a man here and there, either with a pass or, be able to shake him off you, and they haven't done so. They play nice ball. They play the ball around, but they're not penetrating. And France just sits off and wait on them. Because they know if they won the ball, it can be a devastating counter. Good cross in the box. Oh, that was Upamecano. Almost scored an own goal. He's been known to make the rash mistakes. He didn't get to that ball. Tried to get it on the half volley and almost put it in his net. That's the best chance so far for Morocco. There's a corner to Morocco for a missed kick by Upamecano. Morocco delay taking the corner, sorry. Corner comes across the far post. Picked up. The ball is out of bounds. Couldn't be controlled by Talbi. And it's a throw into France on their right side, the left side of Morocco. We're in the 73rd minute. France is leading Morocco by 2-0. Another change by Morocco. Number 26, Edine is off. And Diaz is also off, which is interesting. Diaz didn't get any service midway through the first half through. And yeah, he didn't get much service, actually. He looked really good in the first 20 minutes. After that, things change. I see Yassi coming on. I think Yassi plays for the under-20 team, doesn't he? Morocco's have a lot of good young players also. So it's not just the players who are the regular starters, but they have some young players in the team with a lot of potential. So they're going to continue to do well. What do you mean RR? You say anti-Messi, say France. You mean cheer for France versus Argentina? Here comes France, ball inside to Emery. Plays the Upamecano, goes wide to Luca Dean. Luca Dean comes inside to Upamecano, who plays it out of bounds to nobody. I'm surprised Deschamps hasn't made more changes. For example, take Doué off and put on Bartolo. So here comes Morocco. They haven't done much offensively. They have been overpowered, overmatched. It's almost like men against boys, to be honest. Morocco is playing the ball, but they're not going to get much progress. Right now, they have the ball at the halfway line, but they're not going anywhere. No penetration. And World Cup is not fixed. People just make bad decisions. Human beings are error prone. Here comes Morocco. But they're at the halfway line making no progress. What player is down for France? It is Mbappe. Let's hope he's not injured. Maybe he wants to come off. And Betty ran over to talk to him. Looked like Mateta is coming on for him. Seemed like he's okay. We just want to just get off the field. Maybe that tackle he got earlier did more damage than we thought initially. Yeah, Sun had to want to come off the tired night. Up 2-0, should be able to hold it. Morocco has done nothing to suggest that they can come back from this game. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If you just join us, we are watching the first quarterfinal game in the 2026 World Cup between Morocco and France. France has dominated. Mbappe looks okay. He's waving to the crowd. There's 15 minutes remaining. He looks comfortable. Mateta, who played for Crystal Palace, I said played because I think he may be moving on, is replacing him. And we're also going to see Bartolo comes on. I assume it's for either Doué or Dembele. It's Doué. He normally comes on for Doué anyway. They both play for PSG and seems to replace each other in many of those games. So Mateta is on for Mbappe and Bartolo on for Doué. Yep, Peter says stars makes fight. Yep, we've seen it all the time. And this was an awful matchup for Morocco. You're playing a replica of yourself, but who's much, much better. That's basically what it is. You're technical, but they're more technical. You're athletic, but they're more athletic. You're strategic, but they're more strategic. You're skillful, they're more skillful. Hey, the outcome is beyond a doubt. France has dominated, and they're in another semifinal. So it's third straight semifinal of the World Cup for France. So they've been one of the most successful teams of the last 3 years. Them and Spain. If you call the Euros, then Spain has been. But here comes ball crossing the box. That was by Emery and picked up by Morocco. Emery came back and almost won the ball. Did try to win it, but turnover, referee calls a foul. Here comes Morocco. When they get to the halfway line, France just stand up and they can't penetrate. They run out of ideas. And they're missing their big center forward, we should admit. So that's probably part of their issue. They don't have the quality players to compete with France. We are in the 78th minute. France 2, Morocco 0. I remember watching a friendly between France and Ivory Coast, who looked very, very good in that game, and Ivory Coast beat them. And I said to myself, France looked beatable because they had made their main first team. But right now, they're going to be hard to be knocked out. They're beatable. Everybody's beatable. But the question is, who can beat them? Here comes France again. Bartola crosses, tried to cross to Mateta. He went across goal versus going back. I thought we cut that back to Mateta, but he tried to go across goal. And it's going to be a corner to France. Really good play by Elise to Bartola. Instead of cutting back to Mateta, he tried to go across goal. There's nobody in the box to go across goal, but. So it's a corner to France, Dembele to Elise. France playing in a snail space. Ball plays inside, played outside, back to Elise. Goes to Upamecano, go across field. He has Luka Dean wide, who's going to look to go in the box. And he does. Good cross. Mateta just over Mateta's head. Really good cross by Luka Dean. He has a brilliant left foot. And normally accurate with it. Try to give a soft header to Mateta, who just barely got onto the ball. Here comes Morocco again. 88th minute, 10 minutes remaining plus extra time. Morocco down by 2 goals. Here comes Talbi, who not Talbi, number 8, who is Onahi. Was doing a lot of talking at halftime, but that's not going to help them. They need a goal. Here comes Morocco. Ball crossing the box. Poor header by Upamecano. He makes these mistakes. Instead of booting the ball out, he tried to use his head when the ball was at ground height and almost gave away the ball to the opposition. He makes mistakes quite a bit playing center half. Good player and plays for top club in Bayern, but he can be mistake prone. We'll see what happens when he plays against better competition. Foul by France against Morocco, so free kicking deep in France's territory. I'm telling you, I've seen the Mbappé goal again, people. This is a brilliant goal. In his motion of trying to go by Diop, he fake left, went right, and in going right, he took the shot. It's almost like he faked him left to set him out, get him off balance, so he can go to the top far corner, which he did. Brilliant goal. Free kick to Morocco, taken by Hakimi. Ball bounced around, play up by France. That ball could have gone anywhere. Morocco still has it and goes wide to Hakimi. Hakimi inside, plays it. Is that to Onahi? Foul against Hakimi by Rabiot. Free kick in a dangerous position to Morocco. And Hakimi's not happy. I don't think Rabiot even needs to make that tackle, actually. It's a good place for a free kick. You just lob it over the defense and hope one of your press can get a head on it, one of your teammates. If you just join us, we're in the 82nd minute of the game between Morocco and France. Hakimi with a free kick. Look how he plays it out to shot, save. Poor save by the goalkeeper of France. He got to do better. Magnan has to do better with that shot. It wasn't that difficult a shot. He partied it away, but he should have caught that ball. Here comes Morocco again. Ball out of bounds. Goal kick to, or is it a corner? Maybe a corner to Morocco. Yeah, that was not a difficult ball. He just had to catch that ball, and he partied it. Almost put it back in play. That was poor. It's a corner to Morocco. So Morocco getting some life, putting some pressure on France. A lot of things happening in the box. A lot of jostling in the box. France still up by 2. 7 minutes remaining in regular time. I'm sure there's quite a bit of extra time between Mbappe's injury and substitutions. Jargon said, "Right, France got to me. I hold that fresh and missed the goal." Corner by Hakimi. Good corner. Headed. Just in the side netting. That was close. That was a good header by El Ainoui. If he just took a little bit off that's flying into the net. Got too much on it. Just need to be a little bit finer with his head. He probably would have hit the target. So another change coming off. And that's Talbi coming off. Now substitution for Morocco. And is that Sebai coming on? Number 17. Morocco fans seem to be resigned to their fate. They're pensive looking, not happy. But I'm sure they didn't expect to beat France. You know, some people sometimes have those delusions. Here comes Morocco, 85th minute, and they don't look like scoring. They're down by 2 goals. France, it's a jog in the park. Morocco coming forward, ball played inside to the new substitute, cross to the far post. Collected by Nate Magnan, he's going to go upfield, try to go on the break to Bartola, who's going to take his man for a run. We know how he does this. Take him down the line. Fakes inside. Goes inside. Looking to shoot. Brilliant ball into Elise. Try to go far post. Not a good decision by Elise. He had more time. He was in the box. More time. More space. Should have done better. I think Spain can test any team. I think what Spain will do is have more possession than France. France will play more transition football. The middle of the park is where the game is going to be a challenge for France because it's going to be 3 against 3, and Spain knows how to keep the ball in the middle of the park. So France is going to have a difficult time. Spain doesn't have the potent forward line apart from Yamal. Koundé is off, and Gusto from Chelsea is on. 86 minutes in, France leading by 2-0. Brilliant move by Zaire Emery to Elise. Elise coming forward. What a turn by Elise. And he has Dembele who turns it over. Dembele's had an interesting game. He scored, but he hasn't played well. Turned the ball over quite a bit. I'd love to see stats. They must be ugly, apart from the goal. Here comes Bartola. He's being chased, and he's quick. He's lightning quick. Mateta is with him. Bartola with a shot saved by the keeper. He probably should have gone far post to Mateta or in the middle of the goal, but he's quick. That was not a good shot by Bartola, even though he almost scored. It was not a good shot. He scuffed the ball, but it went near post, and good save by the keeper. 87 minutes in, and Mbappé on the bench relaxed, taking in some fluid. And France looking to go to the semifinal against Spain or Belgium. It'll be an interesting game if Spain gets through because they're not the most potent team, but they're difficult to score on. Corner comes out, headed out by Mateta. Goal kick to Morocco. Mateta had a chance to do better with that shot, with that corner. Here comes Morocco. And Sibai, who just came on, looks very lively. So Mazraoui coming forward from Morocco. He goes wide. Ball back to Mazraoui. They're trying to play through the France defense, but it's not happening. Ball played out of bounds by the French keeper. Throw into Morocco. If you look at attempts, 20 attempts by France, 7 on target, 4 by Morocco, 1 on target. 1 shot on target for the entire 90 plus minutes. Right now, 89 minutes. They haven't done enough. Cross by Morocco, controlled by the French. Tried to cross in the box, but headed over by France and collected by the keeper. If you just join us, we are in the 90th minute of play. Quarterfinal, last 8, France-Morocco. France leading by 2-0. Goals scored by 2 of their better players, 2 of their best players, Dembele and a brilliant goal by Mbappé. 2 very good goals, by the way. 2 very, very good goals. And they could have scored more. They missed a penalty. So imagine Mbappé missed the penalty, the header from Upamecano, the scuff shot by Doué, and they still had 2 very good goals. So that's 5 chances right there. 6 minutes of extra time. So not a lot of extra time. We've seen much more in this tournament. France cruising to the semifinal. And justifying their position as a pre-tournament favorite. But it gets tougher from here. Here comes France, Koundé. Well, back to Upamecano. Saliba and Upamecano have not been tested in this tournament. It'll be much tougher against Spain. Ball played out of bounds by Magnan. Throw into Morocco. Morocco, good tournament. Played well. A lot of good players they have recruited out of Europe who have really helped them, their FA and their organization, their country, because of their prominence in football. Went to the final of the AFCON and now in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. The furthest any African team have gone again. So they've been the best African team for the last 2 years in terms of where they've gone in the World Cup. Even though I think Senegal should have done much better. Morocco trying to pressure France. Ball played out. Corner to Morocco, 91st minute. Ball played out by Dini, Luca Dean, who has no right foot. The ball drops in his right foot. You know where he goes. Oh, am I giving Belgium no chance? Belgium have a chance to go home. Corner by Morocco. Ball headed up by France. France is doing a good job on the set pieces, actually. I'm not going to say any team don't have any chance because Spain draw with Cape Verde, but even that game, Spain got a lot of chances. Morocco has put more pressure on France in the last few minutes than they have all game. Here comes Bartola for France. Ball played inside to Dembele. You go across, we decide not to. Almost turns it over. Play back to Emery. Emery to Kunde. Kunde going to go wide to Olise. Olise come back and go all the way across field to Upamecano, who goes inside to Rabiot. Rabiot's playing the entire game. 1-2. Rabiot coming forward. He has space. He has time. Go to Mateta. Difficult pass, actually. Poor pass. Too much pace in the pass. Not enough deftness, and the ball turns over. Here comes Morocco. 4 minutes remaining in the game. They have 4 minutes to change a 2-stop score. Argentina did it in 15. Morocco trying to do it in less than 2. And handball, it looks like. And free kick to France. Olise, glide by his man. And being fouled, and will take a free kick. So here comes Emery, plays outside to Barcola. Back to all the way back to the keeper. Upamecano goes inside, splitting a defense splitting pass to Dembele, who comes to Emery, who's being pressured, goes back to Dembele. This may be dangerous. Dembele goes across to Mateta. Mateta beat his man nicely and should have scored. He beat his man brilliantly inside, went on his left foot, and shot and scuffed the shot. He had his whole goal to decide where to score, and he missed that. Here comes Morocco and turns it over again as they've been doing all game. And it goes to Rabiot, it goes to Kunde, it goes to Olise. Olise just glides by his man, but runs out of bounds, and it's a throw into Morocco. 2 minutes remaining. Morocco goalkeeper trying to motivate them. Yeah, I mean, we just showed the replay. The keeper saved with his leg, but if Mateta put any pace on that ball, it's a goal. He did all the hard work and then scuffed his shot. Morocco tried a 40-yarder, but it's no good. They will not score today. They have tried. They have done really well again this World Cup, but class is class. Mbappé goal is just ridiculous. It wasn't even a build-up play. It was Dewey with a ball with a little touch to him, and then he just put in the far corner. And then Dembele dribbled from the middle of the half, of the opponent's half, Morocco's half, top of the key, and then put in the far corner. Really good. Now here is Morocco. We have a minute remaining. And as I said at the outset of this program, I'm going to be leaving right after the game. I have to go to an event, unfortunate event. And I'm already late because I'm doing this watch along. We want to thank you for being here. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you have not liked the stream, please do so. And if you have not shared the channel, please do so. We do appreciate you. Appreciate you supporting the channel. And please click the notification bell so you can click on whenever I'm on, whether it's a video and or a live stream. This is a live stream. 35 seconds remaining. Morocco, who played okay, but I've seen them play better. But it has to go with the opponent. It has to be France. And as Peter said earlier in the stream, style makes fight. Styles makes fights. Yes, Keisha, I'll be back. Hopefully for the next game tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I have another event to go to. Shot by Elise over the bar. The referee should be blowing it off now. Game is over. Game, set, and match for this indomitable French team. They have had a wonderful tournament so far, and it continues. Again, everyone, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. Hit the like button before you leave, people. Hit the subscribe bell and share the channel with your friends, families, and individuals who like sports. Jampa fan says, Jamaica people fan says, they start the match not to lose, and that's always scare tactic. Well, I mean, Paraguay did the same thing, and they only lost by 1. So if you play with them, bless up Peter, if you play with them, you're going to get slaughtered. So you might as well try something else. I'm not sure what used to beat this team, but I think Spain or Belgium, who play them next, will show them. Bless up Jargons, bless up Keisha, bless up Peter. Jampa fan, RR, Ricardo, Crumblem, Chorus. Thanks everyone for being here. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful evening. And I'll probably see you tomorrow. Peace out.